Really happy to get that one underneath our belt. Just so many new adventures today. What'd you say?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know where to go for pregame. I didn't know where to go for how to get to the locker room for the game situation. Just walking out. So everything was new. So with the excitement of all that, the butterflies and everything, and I know they felt the same way, just really wanting to get going. I thought they did handle themselves very well. We obviously have a lot to work on to get to where we want to be, and we want to continue to climb. But I thought they did a really good job of, playing hard. We had some moments where we had some miscommunications and things of that nature, but I don't think it was for lack of effort. So, kudos to Jason and his group at USC Upstate. I think they're going to have a really good year in their conference in the Big South. But it was good for us because they're a very methodical offense. And they make you work. They want to slow the tempo down. And but I thought we were extremely efficient with our offense and got good looks. Took advantage of our opportunities, and so it's a good start. And I was proud of her. I thought she did a really good job of facilitating, getting people to where they needed to be, taking care of everyone, and as she steps into her new role. So I'm excited about where we can go.
Questions? Go ahead, Tanya, and then Caroline.
Coach, I think we noticed from tonight that this team is going to put up a lot of threes. You went 8 of 27. Do you have kind of a target number that you're like, we kind of want to put up this many each game, or is it just kind of giving them the freedom to do that?
Honestly, we don't. We don't talk about how many we want. We want everything to happen organically. We do a lot of individual work with our kids, and they practice the shots that we want them to take, and we let them know that if you're open, or Amelia has his case, if you're not open, let it fly. She's got such a high release, she shoots that thing and she doesn't see anybody in front of her. And we love that. But we don't, but it's funny, we don't talk about it, but we always hit that mark where it's usually about 24 to about, some days could be 32. And I think as you're going to see with our dominant post play, we're going to throw the ball inside and you're going to start seeing some double teams and kicking it out. So some of those days it could be 32 or so. But we don't have a target number. We just say if you're open with the shots that we've practiced, let it fly.
Caroline and then Phoenix.
Coach, we heard all summer about the development of Clara Strack. Can you talk about evidence of that growth tonight?
She's special. She really is, and and when we talk about it, and Georgia was there when Elizabeth Kitley and her development and her massive jump. That I sound like an Australian saying massive, like that.
Yep.
Her jump from freshman to sophomore, and Clara Strack has done the same thing, and she looks phenomenal in practice. She has days where she's just so dominant. There's days that she does things, and it wows us. Now I just got to get her to stay out of foul trouble. That's something she hasn't mastered, but we're going to need her to be on the court. But she's a very confident young lady, and the sky's the limit for her. And I promise you, Kentucky fans are going to be excited for the next 3 years watching her.
Coach, I couldn't help but notice whenever the huge smile on your face after Gabby hit that three. Just how awesome was that for you?
You guys don't know the half of it. You really don't. I'm so proud of her. The narrative with a coach's kid is always that, maybe they don't belong or they're not worthy or whatever, but she just plugs away. And I watch her, last year she wasn't ready. We redshirted her. And the growth that she's had in a year, with the understanding that, so many people would doubt her, that's why you saw the smile. That's why you saw the smile, because when she knocked that shot down, I think we were all, excited for her, because she doesn't do anything but come out and work hard. Every time she's out on the floor, she doesn't complain. She doesn't tell her mom on me if I yell at her. So she just does what she's supposed to do, and that's why that smile was there, because she's been doubted before.
We're going to go to Forrest, and then up front, and then to Gabriel.
Kenny, how do you feel like your effort in the paint was tonight defending?
We'll be better. A game like this is hard. The first game is always the hardest game for us because you don't have any film of what they're going to do. And so you don't prep. And it's just basically go off philosophies. And as we continue to grow, we play Northern Kentucky on Thursday. They play tonight. So we'll have a little better idea of what they're going to do. We'll play next week. I think we have Wofford, then we have Louisville. We'll have film, and so we'll be more scheme based in what we're going to try to do tonight. I thought we got a little bit lazy because we were taller and we allowed them to, back their way in, and then we relied on our length. That's not always going to cut it, but we'll be able to do that once we understand what teams are going to do. The first game of the year is the one I hate the most because you just don't have any film. So you're just basically going out there blind and you don't know what you're going to do. And now we're starting to get film, and then we'll be a much better schematic team, and that's a big part of our defense. We don't have kids who are super athletic, super fast, going to go steal the ball, but what we do is have really, really smart players, and we'll be able to take away a lot of what people want to do just because they're that smart.
And Georgia is available for questions too. We'll go up Brent and then we'll go to Dick.
Coaches so often have a tendency to separate performance and results. While you won tonight comfortably, what are your biggest talking points going into practice?
Man, were you at practice? When were you in the locker room? It is. We're very happy, and to get the win number one under our belt, get going. But it's how did you get to that point? Are there areas, and I don't even know what we were up at this point, because at this juncture in the season and with this type of game, I'm just watching to see if we continue to get better, if we're doing the little things that we've asked them to do. And we had some situations where they didn't do it, and so we'll get back on the film and we'll watch it and we'll grow from it, and that's how we'll continue to get better. I'm excited what this group is able to do, the capabilities, and we'll continue to get better. But we have film now, and we'll be able to see how we gave up some of those points, and or how did we bail ourselves out just because we were taller on a situation that better players are going to score on.
Dick, Brad, Phoenix, Caroline.
Georgia. Coach mentioned communication as the point guard. How would you rate the way you all communicated on both ends of the floor, especially as it relates to what you carried over from practice into tonight's game?
First half maybe was like a 2 out of 10, and then we placed a little, we weren't really communicating well at all. And as you said, you mentioned the defensive breakdowns and stuff like that. That was our fault, and obviously, as you said, like schematics, and we have to learn, but we can fix a lot of our mistakes with talking. But come second half, I think our energy picked up and communication all round definitely improved. But it's been a point of emphasis for a while now in our practices, just getting to communicate and just being decisive with it, really. We have loud kids off the court, like we're a good group, we're happy, we're funny, but we need to translate it onto the court. And I think that's just going to come with time and chemistry, We haven't played together, but we'll end up getting it because it's so important to what we do.
Brad.
Coach, so Clara Silva, come off the bench, first game, college, new country, everything. Just talk about her performance and what she done for you guys.
I could just talk about her performance of being here. And she didn't have a grace period. She wasn't here this summer, when everyone was getting acclimated to new surroundings, where nothing was going on, where no one was on campus. She came here and we threw her into the fire. And so she got here in, late August. And the first 3 weeks, first month, she was probably homesick. She didn't have her legs up underneath of her. She's learning a new language. I take that back. She's not learning a new language. That kid is smart. She understands English better than I do. I haven't stumped her yet, with a word or a phrase. I'm like, do you know what that means? And she's like, yes. And then sometimes she just kept saying yes. And I'm like, you don't know. And I made her tell me, and she told me, So she's smart. Coming to a new country with English is not her primary language. And we have a very difficult offense, and it's a lot of plays, and we keep throwing a lot of stuff at her, and she hasn't messed up a play yet. And she comes in and she's very quiet, but she's unassuming in some areas, but she's a giant in others, and she's going to continue to get better because she wants to get better. She's constantly asking me, hey, can we do this? Can we watch film? I want to get better. How do I need to do this? And I think the two Claras, I think they push each other. They're competitive. They're quiet competitors. They will go at each other, trying to one-up each other. And I think that's going to continue. We have them together for the next 3 years. And I think that's going to continue to grow, both of them. But I'm so proud of Clara Silva because it's not easy to do. I watched her do it. She came over here in the first 2 months that she was in the United States. We had a pandemic, and she had to go through that. And then I'm watching Clara Silva go through it, and the way she handles it, I couldn't go to Portugal and do what she's doing. So it amazes me, what they've been able to do, how resilient they are. But it's because they're such a tight-knit group, and they take care of her. our next goal is to get her to venture out and eat somewhere other than Chipotle.
Ah,
It's
You
not
know,
even Chipotle, it's rice and beans.
Yeah, that's all she does, eat Chipotle. So, but she's doing a tremendous job. I'm very proud of her.
4 more, Phoenix, Caroline, Christy, and then one with you.
Georgia, 5 of you all were in double figures and 28 points were scored off the bench tonight. Just being the point guard who has to, kind of distribute the ball, how important is it for you all to be able to score in a multitude of ways like that?
Yeah, I mean, we all have value, and I think in practice we all prove that we can score, and I think all respect to USC Upstate games like this, it's time to introduce people and get people comfortable, and share the love. Like times like this, as I mentioned before, like we build chemistry, take these shots and see where we can go, because later on down the line, it's whose game is it going to be? We're going to have someone that has to step up. If they haven't prepared in these games, then maybe they're not as ready as we need them to be. So I think this was perfect, just getting the ball around to everyone and sharing the love.
Coach, handful of players tonight making their D1 debut. What kind of confidence can that instill in a player, particularly someone like Amelia Hassett, Clara Silva, that kind of thing?
It's huge because they hadn't had the opportunity. I knew Amelia was going to be fine when we went to Big Blue Madness, and she's an anxious kid because she always wants to do well. We went to, and I didn't know what she was going to do at Big Blue Madness, but she stepped up and she was trying to give everybody a house and whatever the situation was. She was supposed to tell them they were going to get a Kroger gift card. She said she's going to give everybody a house if she made all the shots. But that just goes to show her confidence. And she doesn't know any different, but she's gotten so much better, since the season started. And I'm not just talking about shooting the basketball. I'm talking about the little things, defending, talking, communicating, being a connector. So many different things, and she's going to be tremendous for us. I'm very happy for her. Silva, as I mentioned before, is working hard. Lexi Blue comes into my office all the time, and she wants to know, how can I get better? How can I get better? Says everybody keeps telling me it's okay, I'm a freshman, you're going to go through it, but I don't want to be a freshman anymore. I want to be good now. And I told her, I said, well, the best thing about being a freshman? And she says, what? And I said, you become a sophomore one day. And I said, but just go through the process, go through the process. Tana Baker, Tana, she looked lost the first month or so, and then the last couple of weeks she's starting to show that maybe she can be that kid that comes in and plays some good defense for us. I told her, I said, just practice, work on defense, just worry about defense. I said, don't even think about shooting unless you are, wide open, no one around you, can't touch you, then you shoot it. And lo and behold, she shot that 3. I'm like, well, I guess no one was around you, so all right, go ahead. But they all work hard, they really do, and they're fun to be around. They're fun to be around, they're great kids. We're not great yet, but they're great kids.
Georgia, let's just back it up a little bit, talk about how it felt to wear the blue and white and come out there and your first game as a Kentucky Wildcat.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think the summer was quick, but it was long. You're itching for the first game, and I don't know if it's all the change, like Coach Brooks said, the routine this morning. I was all over the place, but once you stepped on the court, it was good. It was fine. It was nerves settled, but I couldn't be more happy to be here. And my experience overall has been so good, and I'm so excited for what we can create here. We had a decent crowd today, but I hope that in the future, the happiness we bring about the game and the joy and excitement, I hope that continues to grow when we turn Kentucky back to, a real powerhouse, high-ranked team.
Were there some nerves back then before you all came out?
Yeah.
She messed me up. We have a routine. She's been my point guard now for 5 years. We have a routine, what we do, and blah, blah, blah. And she messed me up tonight. Instead of just running past me and giving me a 5, she stops, she looks at me, and she gives me a big hug. And I'm like, and all these emotions going on. And like, okay, this is our first game, everything. And so then we got back to it. But very proud of her. But as she mentioned, talking about the crowd, crowds have made our programs go from good to great. And tonight obviously, I know a lot of people don't really understand what we have to do, but we got here late. We had to put together a whole schedule, and it was so funny because we're trying to get people to play us, and it became harder. And no offense to anything that happened before us, but this is a direct quote. We wanted to play the old Kentucky, not the new Kentucky. We'll wait. We didn't expect this. And no disrespect to anybody else, but that's just what we were, up against. So, Jason was gracious and to play us. It's the only game we could find. And, we don't want to go up against the men. I know that there's 24,000, of our fans, trying to split and go different places. But we had no choice to do this. But I think, everyone did a good job, a great job, marketing and whatnot, splitting it. I think we had to fight to get the game at 5. Because we wanted people to have that opportunity to do both. We didn't want them to have to say either or. And I think some people probably came and went and, maybe got to go over to watch the other game. But it's something that we had to do, and kudos to our people for putting on a really good atmosphere. And hopefully when we play on Thursday, do the men play on Thursday?
No.
Okay, well, good. Maybe we'll have even more fans. But it's just something we had to do. It's something we had to do, and I know a lot of people don't understand everything that goes into it, it goes behind it, because we would not want to make people have to choose. But I thought it was a great opening night on our part.
Georgia, congratulations on the double-double, but it didn't come through rebounds, but rather assists. Can you speak to facilitating an offense, especially with a team that hasn't played together for very long?
Yeah, I'm not really of size to rebound like that, so I don't think I've ever got
She does have a triple-double under her belt, though. She does have, one.
But I mean, that's my job, and I've been under his, leadership and plays for so long that I just know spots and I know kind of who he's leaning on to get involved and not testing people because they're my teammates, I trust them, but putting them in positions where they can prove themselves. That's my job, point blank period, as a point guard, I can score, I can be aggressive, and there'll be games this year where, the balances will change, but I love sharing with my teammates. And usually last year maybe they were coming from the 2-man game with me in my previous 5, but I think today it was well spread and hitting shooters, and as we play more, our shooting percentage will go up because we'll be more comfortable. But I love today having as many options as I did.
If you go back and you chart it, her production is always low from a point standpoint. The first 8-10 games, we talk about it. We've talked about it a lot, and it's because she wants to facilitate. She wants to get everybody else going, and then once she gets to that point, then she will start looking for herself. And obviously, her role. We thought her role was going to be a little bit different this year, where she was going to have to shoot more, score more, but, we found out that she's got some very talented teammates. So as the season goes on, her production will go up from a point standpoint, but it's historical that she does that, every year. She's always, hey, I'll get more assists, as many assists as points, then she'll get everybody into a groove. And that's what I love about her and what she's been able to do for me, my programs, and, she'll continue to do it for us here at Kentucky.
Thank you all so much. We'll see you Thursday.